Hey guys, what's going on? Excoundrel here. Today I've got a fun video for you. I joined Clay on stream because all of the servers have been merged, so we basically played a game together. We actually played 2 games together, but the first game both of us didn't do that well. Clay got 3rd and I got 5th, but I was trying to play Goblin Hunters in the first game, which is obviously a really bad build. I would never recommend anybody do it. So me and Clay ended up playing this build. It was really good game. I had a good fun playing with Clay. We played 2 games today. We're roughly the same rank, so we kind of just queued up together to see what would happen. And I basically I formed a pact with him, which is probably not allowed. I basically said, "All right, Clay, make sure we don't go for the same build. We don't want to do that to each other." And he was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." So let's talk about what I did throughout this game. It's in 2 times because I was essentially recording while listening to Clay's stream, so I unfortunately couldn't have the audio on, which means you're in this situation where I'm just going to be talking over this video. And I'm going to talk about what I did and kind of how I kind of assessed the situation and kind of how I pivoted into the build that I did. So you can see here that I have gone for an Argali Knight. The Argali Knight is, in my opinion, one of the best single units in the game in terms of early game presence. So if you ever have a slot in your composition that you don't know how to fill, or you're going to fill it with something that is a little bit inconsequential, would always recommend that you just put in something like an Argali Knight, a Wind Ranger, a Dwarf Sniper. They are all incredibly good units. So you can see in this scenario, I put the Argali Knight on last. The reason I put the Argali Knight on last was because I wanted my Ogre Mage to target him with his ability. As you know, the Ogre Mage generally tends to target either the first or the last unit in your composition. So in my case, I put Argali on last, and I think my Ogre Mage was on first. I'm also running with a Hell Knight because I want to have the 2 Knight bonus, and I also have a Ripper and a Skybreaker because I have the mech bonus, and the Ripper is pretty good at level 1 and gets better at level 2 as well. So I'm basically running with the strongest build that I can without fully committing to anything. I also sold off the God of War to get to 10 gold on the last round. Again, I'm trying to look after my economy. I'm in a really good spot economy-wise, actually. By round 9, I am a surplus of 20 gold, so I've got 24 gold going into round 9. So I can level up and add a Heaven Bomber while keeping 20 gold as well. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take the level 2 Grand Herald. Grand Herald is a useless level 2 unit. So I'm in a situation now where I've got Knights, Goblins. I have a level 2 Ogre Mage on the board, which gives a health bonus to everybody as well. So I'm in a really happy spot with the build that I've got right now. I think I'm doing pretty well. And going into the neutral round, I'm on a pretty solid win streak as well. Going up to 5 win streak going into the neutral round. So I've got a really good economy flowing at this point in time. Now, the thing that I will say is I haven't really got a good idea about where this build is going to go. Now, you see that I pick up the Desperate Doctor, the Glacier units, and the Fortune Teller, but actually I sell those off because I decide that 30 gold on the neutral round and the extra gold that I get from it, as well as the boon to my economy, is going to be more impactful than picking up some random Glaciers that I can find later on. They're not going to come in the composition right now. They're going to sit on the bench for a considerable period of time, and no one else is actually going Glacier Knights at this point, so I feel pretty confident that I can kind of sit here on the economy that I've got and also not have to contest Knights because no one else is actually going Knights right now. So we're actually in a pretty solid spot. The problem for me, though, is that I'm going to very rapidly approach a situation where I have absolutely 0 2-stars, and I'm also struggling to sort of win rounds. And I'm doing okay, but as you see here, I'm actually end up losing, and that means that I'm not going to level up to level 7. I'm mostly going to focus on getting my economy to 50 gold and working with a 50 gold economy. As you can see, I'm at 49 here, so I'm not exactly in the best position, but I do pick up a Lightblade Knight, which is good because that is obviously a knight that I'm going to want going into the later rounds of this game. Now, if you've been watching Macro or Pure Zone or anybody like that, they'll probably talk about Dragon Knights making a pretty solid comeback. They'll be completely correct. Dragon Knights are in a good spot right now. I actually really like Dragon Knights compared to Glacier Knights. Now, the reason I like Dragon Knights compared to Glacier Knights is because in the early game, you don't actually have to think about going for Glacier at all. You can actually just focus on getting the Knights, and then you just need to pick up the Dragons later on. It's a much easier build to force, as well as a much easier build to balance your economy with, because the only thing that you need to think about picking up in the early game is the Knights. You don't need to pick up Defectors, you don't need to pick up Desperate Doctors, you don't need to pick up Fortune Tellers. You can actually just build your Knights, and then when you get to 6 Knights with the Dragon Knight later on, you're going to have a really tanky team, as well as obviously having a team that is generally quite well equipped to deal with most other builds in the game right now. The problem with Dragon Knights, unfortunately, is that you don't usually I'm sorry, I'm yawning because it's quite tiring. The problem with Dragon Knights is that you don't usually have a huge amount of damage unless you can stack one of your knights, because obviously you don't have the attack speed to make your Hell Knight a really solid carry because you don't have Glacier. So you kind of have to get a lot of attack speed either for your Lightblade Knight or for your Dragon Knight. And in my case, I went for the Lightblade Knight stack because it has just been buffed. So you see here, I actually pick up the level 2 Heaven Bomber. The reason I pick up a level 2 Heaven Bomber is because you can sell them for exactly the same cost as you spend on them. The likelihood is that I probably won't end up upgrading the Ripper in this game, and I actually sell him on the Wolf round here, because it is quite obvious that I'm going to be getting rid of my Goblins ASAP at this point in time. So there is no point upgrading my Ripper because I'm going to actually lose 2 gold on that expenditure, as well as the fact that I'm essentially going to have a Ripper for about, I'll probably have a Ripper for about another 4 rounds maximum, and I really have missed the point in the time where it's actually going to become relevant to use that. So you can see I missed a Frost Knight here. I didn't mean to miss the Frost Knight. That was just a massive error on my part. But now that I've got 4 Knights, this is the point where I actually end up selling the Ripper, but keeping the other 2 Goblins on the field. But I do have a level 2 Lightblade Knight right now, as well as being able to equip a Frantic Mask to her. This gives me the 4 Knight bonus, as well as having a Dragon Knight on the field also. So I've actually got a pretty solid composition, despite taking a lot of early losses here. From about round 11 onwards, we were losing. And at this point forward, I'm basically just going to be investing into levels. I feel like I've got a strong composition. I feel like I stack up well against the rest of the field. And so I'm pretty happy with just running with this and then seeing where we go, getting to level 8. And once I get to level 8, then we're going to do some rolling to start stacking up our comp. And you can see that actually with just a level 2 Lightblade Knight, we're doing really well against a lot of compositions right here. Although I'm actually ended up losing to this guy pretty badly. But yeah, we just ignore that. We're just going to ignore that. Level 2 Argali Knight picked up. I actually ended up picking up the Frost Knight. Not actually that important to have Frost Knight on right now. The reason being is that obviously he's a pretty useless unit, but because I have an Evil Knight, the Frost Knight comes on primarily as a way to activate my 6 Knights. So I actually have my 6 Knights now, which means I'm going to have a lot of defensive capability. My front line's pretty beefy because I've got a level 2 Argali Knight and I've got a level 2 Lightblade Knight for mid-game carry. So I'm level 8 as well, so I'm going to be searching for another dragon. Now, ideally, that would be Venom. Venom is probably the best in this scenario. You can actually mix and match the dragons depending on what kind of build that you want to go. But I find the Winter Carop Terran, which means that I'm basically just going to activate my dragon synergy until I find another dragon that I want. And as I said, in this case, I'm very happy to just run with Winter Carop Terran because that is essentially the best unit in this particular instance, just to get my dragon synergy going. So I've got a lot of good level 2s. What are my priorities now? My priorities are level 2 Dragon Knight as a matter of urgency. Level 1 Dragon Knight is pretty bad. But also, we're looking for level 3 Lightblade Knight and we're looking for level 3 Hell Knight. Those are the 2 things that you want to 3-star as quick as possible. And then you're looking to 3-star any of your other knights. 3-starring Dragon Knight often isn't that important, but if you can do it, it's always nice. And in this game, as the title suggests, that is something that we made happen. But actually, my composition's in a really strong spot right now. We've got a lot of good 2-stars. My front line is strong. I've got double Frantic Mask on my Lightblade Knight. I kind of went a little bit overboard on Frantic Masks, as you will see very shortly. I kind of decided that, I just wanted to put a million Frantic Masks on my Lightblade Knight. You probably don't need that many Frantic Masks on your Lightblade Knight. Actually, probably a more sensible decision was to add a Shadow Edge of Night or Shadow Blade to my Hell Knight, but I went for the multiple lifesteal stacks on my Lightblade Knight, which was fine. Claytano activates his Goblin synergy, and so the only way that I'm going to end up beating Claytano in this particular instance is essentially by getting the 3-stars that I need. I need a 3-star Lightblade Knight at the very least, and I need a 3-star Hell Knight as well. I'm pretty close to a 3-star Lightblade Knight, but yeah, if I'm going to lose to Claytano with the fact that he's got an activated Goblin build almost every single round unless I can get things rolling. And also I need a level 2 Dragon Knight. Level 1 Dragon Knight is absolutely useless. And you can see I'm now down at the bottom of the standings. I'm very close to sort of going out in this situation. Well, 42 HP is still good. It's 41 more than I need. But it's still, we're right at the bottom of the standings. We're in comeback territory right now. So the goal for me at this point in time is essentially going to level 9 and adding the Warlock that I just picked up, which you can see here. I'm going to sell off the Argali Knight. The reason I'm selling him off is because I do want to maintain an economy above 50 if I can, because getting to level 9 without spending too much is actually really important to me. So we want to get to level 9 and add in the Soul Reaper. What the Soul Reaper gives us is the Agursis bonus, but also gives us the Warlock bonus. And you can see we're now down to 23 HP after getting battered by this God player. The fact that I lost so much here is now cause enough for me to say, okay, let's start rolling. Let's start looking for some extra units. And you can see I find a lot of big 2 stars in this instance, and I roll all the way down to a very low amount. The reason being is because, again, I have been threatened in 2 rounds in a row by very, very strong players, and so we basically need to just take this seriously and go for as many 3 stars as we can. 23 HP is kind of the danger zone for me. I could lose very badly to a comp and end up losing, in its entirety. So we pick up the 2-star Dragon Knight. We've got the Wild Ring Ripper, which means we're not going to roll in this instance, and then we're going to wait and probably over the next couple of rounds roll for a 3-star Lightblade Knight and a 3-star Hell Knight. If we get a 3-star Lightblade Knight with the units that we've got, we put ourselves in a much, much, much stronger position. And in this case, we find ourselves an upgraded Frantic Mask, which gives us the Armor Pierce as well, which is fantastic with all the attack speed that we have on my Lightblade Knight. And we find another 2-star Hell Knight, which is great. So we're pretty close to finding the units that we need. And you can see now I'm basically like, okay, I'm so close to getting what I need in this situation. Let's just roll down. We also now are sitting one Lightblade Knight and 1 Hell Knight away from a 2-star, 2 3-stars. So once I hit those, if I hit a 3-star Lightblade Knight, I'm going to stop rolling for just a little bit, because I know that I'm in a more comfortable situation. If I hit a 3-star Hell Knight, I know that I can probably get a comfortable top 3. And you can see here, I chose to activate my Lightblade Knight before my Hell Knight with the egg, because my Lightblade Knight has got more damage on her, and also with her being buffed recently, she's a pretty good carry to get to 3-star. I know that my Lightblade Knight is going to carry me through rounds that I would not have otherwise been able to do it at the 3 stars. So I'm very happy to wait on my Hell Knight. I do not need to rush for a 3-star Hell Knight. I'm actually much stronger now that I found the 3-star Lightblade Knight. This is what it kind of is about Dragon Knights. You just need to, essentially look for it where you can. You can see in this situation then I just luck into a Hell Knight, get my 3-star Hell Knight, and I start collecting Dragon Knights, because I'm essentially going to try and use the fact that no one else is going Dragon Knights to go for a 3-star Dragon Knight. Now you might ask why I split my Argali Knight and my Frost Knight over to the right hand side. Well, the answer is, and this is literally the one thing that kept me in the game for as long as it did, the answer is the macro effect. What I've done is if you look at the scoreboard, the Argali Knight is my leftmost unit and my Frost Knight is my rightmost unit. That means it is more likely, because there are a lot of dark spirits in this game, it is more likely that a dark spirit or a helicopter or a random target effect is going to go over to the right-hand side of my board and avoid hitting my Hell Knight, my Lightblade Knight, and my Dragon Knight. I am baiting the Dark Spirit ultimate to the right-hand side of my board, away from the remainder of my composition. This is the only thing that kept me in versus a lot of these players. And it's the only thing that kept me going in this game versus Clay's build. Clay essentially high-rolled into some insane goblins and has basically stomped this game. So I've been working pretty hard to get myself into a position where I'm competitive. And Clay's just like, yo, dude, I'm sick. I'm just crushing it with goblins. So I'm essentially sitting here thinking, okay, right, I need to make sure that if I face Clay, I'm not going to get absolutely battered by his Dark Spirit. So I'm going to go shove it on the shovel the macro effect units over on the right hand side, and that means that I'm less likely to get affected by the Dark Spirit ultimates. And you can see here it was also baiting over assassins very early on, and we're actually beating most people. So we're very comfortably beating most people. Everyone else is kind of getting knocked down very low. And we're in a really good spot. That's why I'm not actually rolling at this point in time, because there is actually nothing that I want to upgrade anytime soon. Obviously, the 2-star Soul Reaper would be nice, but it's not a matter of urgency. And I'm just going to allow myself to naturally try and find a 3-star Dragon Knight. Also, at level 10, there are a couple of things that I can add. I could add a Dark Spirit for a Warlock bonus, which would be pretty good. Or I can add another Dragon Knight temporarily. Just adding a Dragon Knight temporarily would be good. Something that didn't help me this game, by the way, is the fact that Something that didn't help me was the fact that I was actually just getting, when people were dying, the only things I were getting were Magicka Staffs and Magicka Crystals. They do not help this composition at all. If you look at Clay, and I'm sure Clay is going to post his point of view of this video, he has, by the end of it, 6 legendary items on a Venomancer 3. I managed to get 2 legendary items this entire game, and I didn't really get anything that was beneficial to me in terms of drops from units. I just kept getting Magicka Staffs. So I have an upgraded Frantic Mask to the Infused Mask, and I think I end up getting a Barbaric Cuirass on my Hell Knight as well. So I did not get the most insane items this game, which is obviously an issue. However, with my positioning and the fact that I'm baiting Dark Spirit Ultimates away from my Lightblade Knight and my Hell Knight, you're probably noticing that I'm surviving a lot of rounds that I maybe shouldn't. I also beat Clay on that round as well. So I'm in a really good spot, and I managed to get back up to 50 gold by the Black Dragon King as well. So I can now go to level 10, and I have the opportunity to start rolling for any kind of unit that I might need. I do remember that I made a pretty significant error in this game, mainly because I was watching Clay's stream the entire time. The error that I made in this game is that when I went to level 10, I didn't actually add another Warlock, just believing that I already had the Warlock bonus. But I do go to level 10 and add the Dragon Knight. One thing that you'll notice is that the Dragon Knight's over to the right and the furthest back. This means he's actually not going to get the immediate transform, which I noticed just at the end. So he doesn't actually get the immediate transform here, which I will actually end up correcting. But I actually think I made a massive error this game, and you'll notice it in just a moment. You see that almost everybody is out, and now it's literally just me versus Clay. I also got a load of bloody, what are they called? Pulse Staffs, which are just completely useless. So I didn't really have the best time here. So versus Clay, he's got a 2-star Dark Spirit. Watch where his Dark Spirit ults in this situation. It actually ults in on my backline, but luckily I managed to clear out enough of him to win this. But I'm generally trying to bait Clay over to the right-hand side of the board. That's what I'm looking for. I'm also going to roll down, looking for as many units as I can. I'm looking for a 3-star Dragon Knight, which I'm very close to in this situation, which I'm 1 Dragon Knight away. I think I end up getting this turn. I do, yeah, so I end up getting it. And then I pick up the Strange Egg as well. Now, what I want to mention to you guys is, because I did that very last minute, I actually went to 9 out of 10. What I want to mention to you guys is that I should, at level 10, have put on a Warlock. Because I was watching and interacting with Clay's stream, I didn't put a Warlock on at round 10, when I very, very easily could have done. You can see here I used the egg on just a random Hell Knight, but I could have sold some things and put a Warlock on, and I actually think my composition would have been 10 times better. Unfortunately, because I was an idiot and I was just watching Clay's stream, I did not put a Warlock on because for some reason I thought I already had them. Usually when you play Glacier Knights and you have Soul Reaper on the board, you usually have a Warlock. Yeah, so basically I'm an idiot. You don't need to tell me in the comments. I already know on analyzing this game. I have no idea why I did not just put a Warlock on. If you are in this situation, you get to level 10 when you're playing Dragon Knights, you need to add a Warlock as a final unit to your composition to get yourself an extra bit of lifesteal. You really, really do. I am flabbergasted that I did not add a Warlock in this situation. I take the disarm because I want to disarm his ridiculous... what's it called? I want to disarm his ridiculous Venomancer as much as I can. I could have taken the Frostfire Dragon as well, but unfortunately I just didn't really know how it would affect this composition as much. But yeah, I could have taken the Frostfire Dragon very easily. But yeah, I should have added a Warlock. I actually think I could have won with a Warlock. That's the really sad thing. You can see I'm actually beating him, despite him having a 3-star Venomancer with ridiculously stacked items. The one thing that Clay does that actually helps him out massively here is Clay goes and puts himself in the back corner over there, and that means that unfortunately my units clump up around a Dark Spirit Ultimate, and that means that everybody gets killed. So that is the one thing that shut me down here. Unfortunately, I did not have the chance to beat him. I should have put a Warlock on. I don't know how much it would have helped me on that final round because Clay just positioned well to bring my entire composition into within range of just getting hit by his Dark Spirit. But you should be putting a Warlock on at level 10. However, I did pretty well. I had a good comeback, and actually I felt like if I'd got a bit luckier, I might have been able to win that. And also if I put a Warlock on at level 10. Man, that's cringy to watch. Alright guys, see you soon.